All right, shall we talk about the next topic?
Taco Bell?
Taco Bell. So
Taco Bell.
hard transition. But
Let's remind you that Camellia is
This is our
vegetarian.
yeah, I don't eat any of this.
Without food.
But Taco Bell is switching it up and now opening these cantina style restaurants. So there is one in Vegas. Megan has talked about it a couple of times because she's from Vegas. But it is more of a jazzier setting per se with drinks, cocktails, actual cocktails at Taco Bell, no drive-through. And the focus is to bring around 300 of these new locations, and specifically to places like Detroit, Pittsburgh, Nashville, and New York. So the question is, no, they are not switching up the food. It's going to be those same old gorditas or whatever they serve at Taco Bell, because I haven't been in ages. But now with a more mature vibe. So are you in with this? If you don't go to Taco Bell, if you see this and you're in Manhattan and you're like, oh shoot, what's this new Taco Bell? Are you not going to eat at this restaurant because of the switch up?
So I find that interesting. I think that the fast food industry has taken a hard hit in the last decade. A lot of people coming out and talking about how bad the food was for you, the fried food, the quick prepared meals that started frozen and ended up on your plate within 30 seconds. I mean, they have really had to revamp, restructure, rebrand, and remarket themselves. So I see what Taco Bell's doing. I don't know that it's going to attract a different client. I think it might still keep the same Taco Bell fans, and maybe if they see it in a city like that where they can have a beer on tap, they'll be like, hey, yeah, cool. But I don't know that it's still Taco Bell, the name, and so I think they're still going to keep similar clientele. Maybe in the beginning, because of all the hype, new people might walk in, but I don't see it changing that much, personally.
I do.
Do you?
I do, because when you're in a place like Vegas, if you go, I'm going to go to Taco Bell, you're not going to drive off the strip, the Las Vegas Strip, to go grab Taco Bell. You're going to grab what's ever there, but you're not also going to just put a standard Taco Bell on the Las Vegas Strip. There's got to be some sort of twist and pizzazz and an experience, right? We're in a generation of wanting an experience. No longer are people, and I don't say no longer because there are a lot of people that still do it, but I read a recent study where millennials aren't investing in homes anymore for that American dream. Their American dream is to travel, to be able to travel and use the money that they're earning on their experiences for the social posts and for the stamps in their passport and all of that, because to them and to us, living a life that's really well lived and well traveled is much cooler. So I think to add an experience like this is something I would never post. If I'm going to Taco Bell, there'd be no reason to take a selfie at Taco Bell. But if I'm going to Taco Bell Cantina with the spiked slushy, and let's see, this is they said 50 locations: Manhattan, Pittsburgh, Nashville, New York, Detroit by 2022.
Yeah. See, but I don't think it's going to work, because those cities are specifically going through huge gentrification projects right now. Pittsburgh, Detroit, they're pumping a lot of money into the city to get a new type of resident. And with that said, the new type of residents want they want to know that my food is organic, and they want to now go to craft beer bars, and they want the experience, but they don't want to continue on with that experience. They'll take one picture and dip out and then go back to the organic brewery on the corner or the brunch spot. So I think in theory it will work, because even to think about it, if you walk around New York right now, New York City, you only see Taco Bell, KFCs the further you go out into the boroughs. In Manhattan, you go to Times Square, sure, you'll see a McDonald's and you'll see all these pop-up shops, but putting a Taco Bell somewhere like that where you already have access to so many different types of food and cultures and different restaurants, nah.
I think what they needed to do was revamp their menu also. Because if they offered chips and salsa at the table and a guacamole that was made fresh every day, kind of turned it more into like a Chipotle Qdoba experience, and then added the fact that they now have beer on tap and it's more of a sit down, I think that might have done enough to really switch over. But I don't know that the same old menu is going to cater, like the fourth meal, I don't know if that's going to cater to the people who are down on those strips.
But here, I mean, not everything's the same though. They didn't serve alcohol before at Taco Bell. So now we have spiked drinks, and I'm reading, this is actually in the SAC B. Let's see. This is a quote from Mike Grams, who's Taco Bell's chief operating officer, and this is what he told Food and Wine. One of the cool things happening in America right now is the revitalization of urban areas, and we're seeing millennials moving into downtown areas. I've heard, because I live in the greater downtown, midtown area in Sacramento, that one is coming to downtown Sac. Midtown Sac more specifically, but I don't want to go on the record and say that, but a little insider did tell me that one is coming. But they did say that this cantina style will showcase local artwork, feature open kitchens, and boast digital menu displays. Is that enough change, though?
But low-key, Taco Bell always had an open kitchen. If I'm at the register, I can see the back. I can see you pulling the shredded lettuce and putting it on my three country taco supremes. Like, I saw that anyway. I saw you making my gordita or my cinnamon
But it is
crisp.
open. It's true.
It's open, but you can see in the back. Like, I can see you putting the making
I
the burrito.
like the artwork though. Like, what kind of artwork are they putting in Taco
Maybe
Bell?
They need to get Picasso.
Okay, if it's like local art, and you can have it pop up at a local Taco Bell, and you can say, hey, friends and family, come check out my artwork. It's going to be hung on display for 2 weeks at this local Taco Bell. They're probably going, what?
Right.
But what I'm saying is, it's all the other stuff that might bring you there one time,
okay.
But unless they change their menu, I just don't see it being the thing that changes their clientele. I just don't. A digital menu, people already have that everywhere else, and so that's not that big to me. The fact that they can now, see it digitally versus on the big menu in front of you, I don't know. The big difference is that these will not have drive-thrus, so it's going to force those people who want to go to those restaurants to walk in, and then that's why they're saying now we're going to offer the drinks so you can walk in and sit, just like the Starbucks has the alcohol in some of the Starbucks.
Yeah.
And they've kind of revamped their menu so that when you're eating this, drinking the drinks of alcohol, you can sit and have a flatbread pizza at Starbucks now. I mean, they changed
It's true,
things.
and that's made me want to go in on days that I don't even order coffee. Right. I go in sometimes just to get that turkey, bacon, egg white sandwich.
But see, they've changed their menu.
You're right.
They didn't just have coffee with drinks. They added new food items.
I don't see any food items. Cornelia, you lived in New York for a handful of years. New York City alone, the chain plans to debut 50 stores in the next 5 years.
And right now it said they only had like 6.
Yeah, but why do you think they're doing this? Because research shows them what they need to do. They don't just pop. They don't not do the research.
Being of a younger age, because I'm not super young.
Okay.
Being in New York, seeing the vibe and seeing where the Taco Bell, KFC, A&W's already were, they were further out in the boroughs. So for them to put new Taco Bells, I'm first thinking, okay, so they're gonna keep putting them like further out in Brooklyn, like back towards Coney Island, Flatbush. Like, is that what they're gonna do? Because if you think about it, you have financial services in there. You got Barclays, Goldman Sachs. You have Wall Street. You got all of these different industries. You got millionaires riding the subway. If I have access to this type of lifestyle and I'm already showing you that I'm not going to Taco Bell because I'm not going to Flatbush to go get a Dorito fiery taco, I don't know why. Like, I'm really baffled.
50 in 5 years.
Okay, I have a theory.
Okay, let's hear it.
I have a theory for that. Because when I visited New York City, you couldn't go anywhere without paying like $20 for a bagel and a schmear. So if they keep their prices low,
New York fast food
that's
prices
what I'm
are
saying.
expensive.
New York. So if they keep their prices low enough to be a solution for people that don't want to go spend a bunch of money on a restaurant, if they can come in, do all the sightseeing things quickly, get a quick bite to eat and get out. But then you're not sitting down to get a beer. You know what I mean? And so I still think that it doesn't work unless they change the menu.
Well, Terry Latsko says, so many times I wanted a margarita with my tacos. Kimberly Morgan, what wine will pair nicely with my chalupa? You're right. That is weird. Wine with the chalupa. I heard in Canada they have beer at Taco Bell's now, so that's a different, way of going about it.
I honestly think it would work if you focus on cities that weren't going through this gentrification movement. Because now thinking about Detroit, they're putting all of the stadiums downtown in one area. They are focusing on building that up, and in surrounding areas over time, it starts to get nicer and nicer and nicer, and it's pushing people further and further out. That's not happening in Gary, Indiana. If you put the Taco Bell Cantina in Gary, Indiana,
that might work.
It probably will be popping, because that is a change. You don't have access to new restaurants coming in and new businesses and new pop-up shops.
I think they're doing it not for the people who live in the community. They're doing it for the people who are coming for the weekend into the community. So New York City gets gets a lot of visitors. One of the things on the long list of things to do in the city that weekend is going to be to hit up this Taco Bell. It's not for the local. It's not for the local. Vegas, another destination. So San Francisco's on the list. Nashville. I mean, you talk to anyone these days of my girlfriends who have girlfriends who are having bachelorette parties. Vegas has sort of like been there, done that. I'm going to a bachelorette party this weekend in Vegas, but it's sort of been there, done that. Nashville is where everyone's going now.
So Terry Latsko, are you an insider?
What did she say?
Terry says menu will be upgraded. There's one coming off Northgate and I-80. So Terry, tell me why you know this, and if I can confirm the source. I do want to get to dancing before we leave, though.
Okay.